You are watching Access LaPorte County Channel 97. Coming up next is the December 18th meeting of the Michigan City Animal Control Board. You can find more information for this meeting at www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Good morning. This is the fourth quarter meeting for the Animal Control Board. Today's date, Wednesday, December 18th, 2024. We will call the meeting to order at 11:02 a.m. Sorry. Did the same thing there. We will do a roll call. Chair is present. Dave Cooney.
Councilman Don Przwolinski, present.
Karen Kylander, present.
And Dr. Bailey is absent. We do have a quorum. Discussion of the minutes from the second quarter meeting of 2024. We can review them or approve them.
I make a motion to approve them.
Second.
Motion to approve. Make the first motion and then seconded by Karen. Yeah. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Any previous business that we wanted to discuss today? I know the last meeting you wanted an update on the building, the kennel building.
Mm-hmm.
So Chad, do you want to talk a little bit about where we're at with the kennel building?
Yeah, we're working with other departments within the city, and we're gonna do an expansion off the back of the building, because I guess for the ARPA funds, it has to be connected to the original structure. That's where we're at now with working on this.
So we've been speaking with Terry Borloff, Andy Metanek. They're in agreement that they'll be able to do the work. Basically, we're going to do a pole barn. They already submitted a quote, which is under the money that's allowed through the ARPA funds that we've already been appropriated. So within those two, and I'm sure our help as well, we'll be able to get that completed here, hopefully, or at least started in the early spring. Is kind of where we're at.
Okay, when's it going to be started?
So we wanted to start at the end of winter, which is within the next couple weeks, and beginning
Dr. Bailey?
it is December, beginning of January.
Hey, Doctor.
I can go take a second here.
So, I'm sorry, they want to get started when?
End of December, so pretty much any week now. I haven't spoke to Terry, but that's when his department is slowest, and they're taking this on. And we're going to do hopefully like a pole barn type structure attached to the original structure.
Okay, so how many kennels will be in there? Can you explain, how many kennels, how big, what have you?
About the same amount of kennels we have now, 8, but it's just going to be bigger, larger kennels, and then there'll be a separate cat area as well, because it'll be a bigger structure. Then we can use the original structure for laundry, store food, and then just backup area if needed.
So you're only gonna have 8 total with both of them done, with the new addition done?
Yeah.
So you're not actually gaining any kennels?
I don't feel the need to increase kennels, because the problem is if we do that, then we're adding more personnel as well, I would think.
My only concern is that we get these court cases that you guys have to, last year we had 5 dogs that we had to keep for, 6 months?
That was a long time.
Yeah, so, I mean, if we're gonna talk about that, I mean, I would probably keep a couple of the other ones. And, I mean, I don't think we need a huge number like you say. I think we want to discourage to get too many dogs in, but I would be hesitant to tear out the old kennels. Maybe use those for backups or something. The only thing I would say. I don't know how the construction is going to look, but I would at least try to gain a couple kennels out of the situation. So, and it may be with the bigger kennels you can put a couple dogs together, but I agree with the question. It just was a red flag to me because, and I guess the other thing we could investigate, and I know legally with some of these cases, when they're court cases, they have to stay there, right? They couldn't go to the Humane Society or anything else?
We have fostered court cases before.
Yeah, we have
right?
foster court
Yeah.
case dogs.
Can we? Okay.
Yes.
All right, as long as we can do that. I mean, sometimes you can't because you're so
But
aggressive.
unfortunately, most of the court case dogs are
Right,
Russian related, so we
Right.
don't foster them.
Okay, no, that's fine. I just wanted, I was curious whether you could do that. If you could do that, that at least
Yeah.
helps. So, no, that's good.
Yeah, because I agree with the doctor. You know, we're gonna do this, and if we're not gonna do it every year, expand this kennel, so we gotta do what's right. And if we need, you know, a little bit more, I don't know who was all in with the budgetary process of this kennel, but, you know, if we need, you know, $10,000 more to make something right, that's gonna be there for a long time, 20, 25 years, whatever, that we need to do that. And if we need to, and if I gotta carry the ball, you know, and talk to the mayor about getting another $10,000 for this project, then I'll do it. But I just wanna make sure when it's done right, and we don't come back and say, hey, we should have done this or we should have done that. Because once you do that, it ain't gonna be done. Yeah. There's other priorities on the table by that time. Yeah. So I just want to make sure that whatever the committee says is right. Okay, if you want to take a step back and say, hey, maybe we should do this or do that, something to think about.
So again, just my concerns with if we do add more kennels, is the personnel needed to be there to clean the kennels every day, because we do it twice a day now, over the weekends. It's a lot of man-out personnel hours that go into that. So,
Yeah.
you know, I'll find adding more, but we're going to need more people too. You know, and that's the other offset of that. You know, so
I mean, I was just thinking, even if you could just maintain 2 of the old ones and only use those for emergency situations, that would be, I agree, I don't think that you want too many, because I do think it's like humane society, you build it bigger and you get more animals.
Right.
And you eventually gotta say, we
You
can't take
become
any more
more.
anyway. So, and the other question I had is, what are you doing for cats? You're just gonna do the rolled kennels type things?
No, with the new structure, we'd make legit
Cat area?
cat area, yeah.
Will it be shelter from the dogs?
Yes.
Okay,
We're talking about putting a partition wall
okay.
to separate the cats from the dogs. It'd be in the same building, but
Yeah, no,
so right now they're currently at pretty much 3 feet away from each other.
Right.
Yeah.
That's great.
You know, does that kind of drive the dogs?
What's that? I'm sorry.
Well, with the cats being in there, is that kind of, right? You said the cats are in there?
Yeah, the cats are in there. So basically, what we have to do is we put up like a big heavy comforter over the corner, and just kind of.
Oh, so they can't see them.
Yeah.
Okay.
So kind of. But the dogs are still barking nonstop most times.
Yeah, because they know the cats are in there.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I asked, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cats and headphones.
That's right.
Yeah, it's near impossible to make the smell go away without having 2 separate buildings, but
Yeah.
if you could just have not visual, that'd be great.
Exactly.
That'd be great.
Okay.
any other discussion on the kennels? Hearing none.
I have one more,
Sure.
sorry. I haven't seen the plans, I'd still like to see them. And sorry, I don't know why. Make sure you've got a great
You
big
have them,
wall,
don't you?
exhaust fanted, a large exhaust one. Is that wall exhaust fan that you can turn on to air the kennel out?
Yeah, we do have that currently in the building we have. We'll put one in the new building.
Yeah,
as
but
well.
huge.
Yeah, definitely. It does make a huge difference in
Yeah.
our existing building.
Right, okay.
Let's go again. You have the written up plans, right?
Yes, it's on an email from, I can send that to you later.
Okay.
Just send it probably to all of us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That way we have that. Any other discussion? The other previous business, just talk about the feral cat situation, what we're planning on doing. I know Michelle has already kind of reached out and ran with the TNR and Chad. You want to just explain what the TNR is?
Basically, we just pick up a cat, trap it, neuter it, then release it back in the same area that it came from. Just to stop the population of the cats reproducing. We're working with Freeds on that currently, and I know Michelle's reached out to other organizations as well to all of that.
Yeah, Paige actually orchestrated the whole TNR of starting a monthly TNR with Freeds and reaching out to other programs to help reduce the population.
Do we know about what that costs per month?
I do not, off the top of my head. I believe we are making arrangements as well with the mayor for a grant to give Freeds so we can continue to do the TNR.
Just like a certain amount,
Depending
right?
on the service, some places are between 50 to 100 per cat.
Question I have, I think it's always an issue with this thing, because when you guys pick them up, it's always been an issue with the dog warden. When you pick the TNR cats up, nobody wants them back in their neighborhood. I mean, I would tell people, I would have some kind of a signed document that explains what TNR is, and that if you're gonna pick up the cats in their neighborhood, they have to sign it, and they have to be released back there, because unfortunately, there's thousands of cats behind crates right now, and because there's no place to put them back in the neighborhoods, and that can't continue. Poor people that live on the golf course back there, is just not fair to them. So, but otherwise, I would just tell people you can't do it. I know you got a list of what, 2,000 cats or something?
Yeah, we do have a running list of the neighborhoods where there's problems with,
But I would just tell people right off the bat that this is what we can offer you. These cats have to come back here. This is the only way this program works. And if we're gonna pick up your cats, and because you're gonna have people going to the board, and the city, and everyone else, and I would explain, probably take this to the board, city board, and there's all kinds of documents out there about TNR programs, why they work and how they work. But the biggest problem I've heard about you guys picking them up is that releasing these cats in the neighborhood, the people that you pick them up from don't want you to do that. And I just, I would just say you can't do it unless they sign the document. Or at least give it to them and let them read it. And if they don't want to do it, I wouldn't spend your energy doing it, because it's not fair to you guys. It's not fair to the people where they end up having to find a new home somewhere. I don't know what your experience with that is like.
I know that, yes, there is a bad cat population out there. We've also been seeing a lot of FELV positive cats.
What is that?
Fetal leukemia positive cats. I don't know why. This year has really been bad.
That's the problem with the program that I don't like, because they won't test them.
Right.
And there's no reason that's part of the reason I've never participated, is if they're not testing them, they're bringing these animals in and they're sending diseased animals back into the community.
Correct. And if your innocent cat gets out and they get into a fight, well, there's a good chance your cat just got infected. So that is a problem that we're running into also. And yes, the TNR program cuts down the population, but I agree with Dr. Bailey. There's a lot involved in taking care of a cat, and testing them is a big thing. 'Cause, the cats that we have a hard time placing them and putting them out in the public. They're just going to be reinfecting again. So it's a tough one.
Well, to start with something, and maybe the community has to be educated on feral cats and what the program the city has to offer people if they want to deal with trying to reduce the population, is to send out something very informative in how they go about getting the catch, neuter, release. How that program works is to send out a notice in the water bills to everybody in Michigan City. The radio is one thing, Facebook is good, but if everybody, in the water department will do it, all we gotta do is buy the paper. They'll send it out for nothing. Yeah, but to me, you gotta educate the public, you gotta let them know what's going on, because I know that there's a problem down on Gardena Street.
Yes.
Yeah, where that one house, there's 6 or 7 cats. You go by there in the evening, a boom, they're there.
Yeah.
Because the plates are sitting out on the front porch.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which is
and,
getting more cats coming to see them, so. And people don't mind 2 or 3 cats, but when you start having, you know, I mean, we've been getting phone calls of people that's got 30 or more cats that they can get rid of. I mean, that is crazy. Like, there's a problem when you get to, you know, 10
It's
cats.
not like a
but when you
single
have-
home, there's multiple homes like that.
Exactly, so,
Well, and somebody needs to go to the city council and explain, in some meeting, explain how this program works. And, you know, say that animal control is working with this group, but this is the other thing that needs to be explained. This isn't like an overnight fix. This is a 10-year fix.
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, it's a minimum of 5 years before you're gonna make a dent in the populations.
Before you start bringing it down?
Yep.
Take 5 years?
Yep.
Okay.
We also need to know that one pair of cats and their kittens within 10 years produce over 1 million kittens.
That's wild.
Crazy numbers.
yeah.
So it needs to be done. It just needs, everybody needs to, I mean, it's okay to do it if it's done appropriately. I think testing them and not releasing them, positive cats back in the community has to be part of it personally.
Yep.
I agree. I mean, it's getting out of hand. It really is. It's,
Yeah, and if you want to come, the expert, I'm not the expert on feral cats, but I've certainly learned a lot about it in the last, 6-7 months. But if somebody wants to come and talk at the city council meeting, I mean, put you on the agenda and you can get, 10, 15 minutes to talk about it. That way you're informing the council of what's going on, because not all the council people know that there's an issue in Michigan City, so you gotta get them on board first.
right.
And then there's a lot of people that watch the council meetings, and they learn from
I think it would be
what
what
takes
takes place.
place.
Education.
That's a good
because
point.
People in your individual communities are gonna come to you and complain.
Yeah,
And you have paperwork and, I mean, if you two wanna go, if it's after it's not January, I could go with you. And I think it would be good to see animal control, humane society, and then I can explain it from a veterinary standpoint. But we need to make sure people understand the benefit and that it's not an overnight fix. So,
And again, it's about educating people. I mean, that's, we do that all day long because there are a lot of people that are really oblivious because they only see that, they're feeding 2 or 3 cats. They don't realize that 2 hours down the road, there's 20 more cats that somebody's feeding, and it's gotta get stopped.
yeah.
It has to stop.
And it's more of a taxing on you guys at the shelters, trying to maintain or help these cats out.
Yes.
So it's just,
Well, we're full just like animal control is, and people, they still leave cats, so now you've got crates, and it's like, well, what do you think? I mean, there's perfectly fine cats that we just don't have anywhere to go with them.
okay. When's our next meeting?
The first quarter meeting won't be until the end of March.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we have time. So probably a February meeting, we'll figure out what works.
Yeah, so,
We'll just all show up.
Whoever wants to come to the council meetings, we can meet before that. We don't have to have a formal meeting.
Right.
Yeah, and put a program together and what we want to talk about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
So after the first of the year, give me a holler, we'll reconvene, chief, and, we'll put a presentation together.
Okay. Let's do it.
Because and the same thing about the feral cats, I know that the mayor, Angie, set aside ARP money, I think it was $12,000. It's supposed to be split, one, I think, with Freed's, and is that how you say it, Freed's? Yeah. Cat shelter and another
I see it.
trap, neuter release program. So there's money there to get started. And I don't know how far that'll go, but at least it's a start. So there is money going to be available to spend on this program. Okay?
Good.
I didn't know if you guys remain aware of that or not, but
Well, I know Johanna had said something, that Tillman said something about $500. I don't know if that's like a part that we would get, because we have our vet team that, next year we gotta get all of our ducks in a row. But we are also gonna start doing, we're not gonna be doing the TNR, we're gonna be doing the surgeries. So basically there's gonna be somebody in charge of trapping the cats, they're gonna bring them to us, we're gonna spay and neuter them, and then they're gonna take them back to where they got them from. But again, that's only a certain, she was unclear if it was 5,000 that MHS would get or 2,500. But again, it's a start, because we don't know, it's only gonna be one day that, one day a week that they would do the surgeries. And I had said something too about testing, and, apparently they really don't test TNR.
For leukemia or any other diseases they test for.
Yeah, they don't test for that, so
I
I just think that's,
I think if it goes to the immune study, we ought to push for it.
I just think they should be tested, because that could,
Probably need to come to the immune study board, but I can do that. This is ridiculous, not to just.
it is. It is. I mean,
You say the
nobody,
leukemia keeps going up and up and up.
yeah, this, like I'm saying, I've been there over 26 years, and it was a rare occasion to get a feline leukemia positive cat. And right now, I think we have 8 to 10 of them. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what's going on, but it's spreading.
So how much does it cost to get a cat tested if they come in for a neuter and
It's
they get tested?
It's a matter of drawing blood and testing them. I think you guys, I can get you numbers, but I think in a bulk testing, you'd have to test them every single day, every day you did this, but I would test them before you spay them or as you're spaying them, and you probably could get it in a multi-pack kit, you could probably get it under 15, a cat.
Okay.
I mean, I'd have to, everything in the medical field has gone crazy, so it's like everything else lately, but a lot of our stuff has gone up 3 times in the last 2 years, so.
Okay.
I wouldn't quote that number, but I can get it for you.
Yeah.
I'm thinking around about 15.
Give or take, yeah. That's what I would think, $15 per
Okay.
cat would be my guess.
Okay.
It would be under 20. And we might even be able to get a lab to do it at a discount, I don't know, but I honestly think you need to do a tabletop and you need to test them the day you do them, and part of you guys is, the way I would establish it, if you guys are gonna participate, is that you're gonna test these cats and they're not gonna be released if they're positive. I mean, and you gotta get Johanna and everybody else on board for that, because that needs to be a standard. I mean, you're gonna have people watch this video and they're gonna come screaming next time we have a meeting here, because of that, but
Right. Well, and that's the
it's
thing.
not fair to the people in the community.
Right. I don't want people to think that, oh my God, we're going to get these cats trapped, and then, they're going to get humanely euthanized. And there's, the
If they're
population is out of
they're
control.
carrying a chronic disease,
Yes, right.
they should not be released back in the community.
And can you explain briefly, like, exactly what FALV is? Because
Yeah, the two that
it's
you
not
would be
good.
testing for, you'd be testing for feline leukemia and feline infectious anemia. Both those are chronic diseases. If the cats are FIV positive, they can carry it, which is the feline, we used to call them AIDS, but then that other one came up. So there are 2 different diseases that I would test for together. One would be feline infectious anemia, and they get that through bite wounds. So if they go back in the community and they bite another cat, the feline leukemia is transmitted through the saliva. And so very easy if they're eating out of the same bowls, urinating, defecating, litter boxes, if people put outside litter boxes in. The thing about leukemia is that a third of the cats that have it are going to become chronic carriers. A third of them are going to be sick and die within a year. And 40% of them, so it's 30, 30, and 40, 40% of them are going to get over it and be negative later. But you have to test them 6 months later to find that out. And you're getting trap, neuter, and release cats that you aren't going to catch the same cat again. So.
Now, can these cats infect other animals like dogs?
No,
And
just cats.
just cats? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And they do that through biting them?
Well,
Is that how it's, or the saliva?
FIV is through bite wounds. They have to fight another.
That's
So
right.
you can have cats in the same house. If they're not fighting, one cat will have it and the other ones will never get it. But the feline leukemia is transmitted through saliva, so it's much easier to get that one.
Yeah. Got all that, Chief?
Got it. A lot of notes, got it.
And so might as well throw it out there. Freed's has a room where they test these cats positive and they put them in a room. I don't know what the number of cats is in that room now, but it's scary. You put all these sick cats together, and when I'm I'm throwing out a number, 300 to 500 cats in a room, a third of this size, that are positive. That's not fair to the cats either.
Right.
So then what happens with
It would be
the cats?
much more humane to euthanize them than to put them in a stressful situation like that.
Yeah, but I mean, you'll never get over it, right? I mean, it's not like you're gonna take a cat, I guess you can cure them,
There's no
I don't
cure.
know.
There's no cure for it.
No.
Okay,
Yeah. Like I say, a third of them on the feline leukemia can get over, if they get it with their kittens, they can test positive later and get over it.
okay.
But that's 1 out of 3 cats. You don't know which cat that's gonna be, and most of the TNR cats are already adult cats, so if they're positive, they're probably gonna stay positive. So that's the other thing that needs to be, when they throw that out there, well, some cats get over it, not as adult usually.
Very good. Very good information.
Any more discussion on that?
No, it's just that we'll get together, right, in January and put a program together, presentation together for the city council, and, yeah, and we'll go from there.
Okay.
Good discussion.
I think there's any other past topics, unless someone has something. We'll move on to new business. I did want to mention, Michelle, you found someone to do microchipping. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so we recently partnered with Silver Stray, and they offered to provide us with free microchips for the community. So the question I had for that would be, do we want to do the microchips for dogs that we pick up and return to owners? Or did we want to open it up for specific days and times for anyone to sign up in the community to come get free microchips for their pets? My other question too is I want to make sure that we're not in violation of anything by administering the microchips ourselves to the vets.
Now you can administer them yourself. Can of worms, I would definitely microchip every dog you get, so that you can prove it's the same dog that you get back in again. And I would see if that group will allow you to register them. Microchip does no good if it's not registered online. I mean, you guys ought to have some kind of computer program where you can record who you put them in and et cetera, but I can talk to you about that, but I would not do a community thing without doing, unless it was associated with the vaccine clinic or something like that, because you're gonna have animals that aren't vaccinated coming together in the same room. You're gonna have dogs and cats that are gonna bite, and it's a can of worms. I mean, Humane Society does it as well, right? So you'll do it for everybody that in the community, but that's more like an individual basis. I would definitely not have a clinic unless you're having some parameters established.
Right, and we did actually set up a monthly low-cost shot clinic at PetSmart. So that I guess could be an option too, if they're already coming in to get their vaccinations done, offering the free microchips as well.
I just want to say, I'm here with Guardians of the Green Mountain Dog Rescue, and also as a volunteer. We've had a couple very successful microchip clinics. I understand.
If you have enough volunteers, and, right?
We did it at, it was Runnings, whatever it is now. We did over 200 people in less than 3 hours. We allowed anybody from the county, but it was a lot of Michigan City people. And Silver Stray is doing a great job. I love that they're focusing on that. I administer our Lost and Found Pets page for the county too. So anything we can do to get animals back to their owners, or, I was involved with some deceased animals 2 weeks ago and they weren't chipped. It would have been really helpful to have that information.
Well, that's,
Any way we can get them
it's essential though that those microchips get recorded.
registered. And
Yeah.
I did
Yeah.
that sitting there.
Okay.
And I have access to online to be able to do
Yeah,
that.
Silver Spray offered to do the registration, give us the forms, and they'll fully register the chips for us.
Yeah, and if you have any hiccups, I can help you with that too. So.
Yeah, there's nothing more frustrating than having a dog come in with a microchip and have it not registered.
Nothing.
Right.
Our animals, we
yeah.
just have guardians and the people, so that we're always contacted too.
That's what I was wondering, because that's how Humane Society has it. If you guys can do it where they're registered through you, so even if they don't register,
You get phone calls.
you still get the animal back.
Yeah, at least you can help trace,
Right.
find them right.
But a lot of people out there, there was just the guy that we were discussing earlier, the 2 dogs, one of his dogs was registered, with a microchip back at Three Oaks Veterinary, and so I gave him the numbers to register the dog. A lot of people don't even realize your dog had the microchip.
That's true too.
And once they do have the information, keep the information updated, because that's other frustrating, is the phone number is no longer in service.
Yeah, it's better now that everybody uses a cell phone, but you're right. It's,
Yeah.
Any other discussion on the microchipping? I think it's a good idea. It'll work well, especially if they're already
Yeah, I mean,
registering.
if you're gonna work with you guys and set up something, that's fine, just make sure it gets registered and you just realize the can of worms that you're doing with it, so.
You had mentioned potentially being trained on how to do that, or you know how to do it, the microchipping.
Right, that would be something helpful too. I don't know if you'd have time at your clinic,
Sure,
just to
yeah,
give us a
we can do
little
that.
rundown and.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, training.
Thank you.
Any other discussion on microchipping? Any other new business? We will now go over the animal control activity for the,
Chief, can I ask a question? Sure. Yeah, under new business. So how's the, we know there's an issue with feral cats. How about dogs? Does there tend to be an issue with dogs in Michigan City?
Like, not wild dogs, but there's a lot of dogs that just randomly occur, like we think they're being dumped. Especially pit bulls.
Yeah. How many pit bulls?
Like currently we
A
have
month.
two within the last 2 weeks. They just, one ended up over at the YMCA, then the other one ended up a block down the road right here by Golo. Just wandering around, and we post them, and just, there's never an owner. And one of them had a collar on, so if somebody did own the dog, it's a dead end, because all we can do is post them, and if they don't have a microchip, we don't know where the dog came from.
It's gonna be an increasing problem too, because 11 million extra dogs were adopted during COVID, and now that people are going back to work,
Oh.
that's why the Humane Societies are getting full again and stuff.
Yep. And another thing is people will call around, because we always refer them, if it's an owned animal, to reach out to the Humane Society or a shelter. And a lot of times they will not have room, so their other option is just to dump the dog, unfortunately.
And I've had people say, when they call the shelter to bring an animal, I'm like, we're currently full, call back in a couple days,
Yeah.
whatever. Well, then I'm just gonna take it and dump it. I'm like, that's not fair to the animal.
No, no,
Like,
no.
that's not what you're gonna do, and that's what people are doing.
They call us too, the same thing. We're foster based, so we have even less options.
any other discussion on that?
No, thank you. I was just curious if there's an issue with them, but dumping of dogs is what
Yeah,
the issue is.
it's not like it's a feral dog, it's just, they're being dumped.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
We'll go over the numbers of the third quarter of 2024 for the animal intakes. Jed, do you want to go over these, or I can do it?
I don't have that sheet.
That down there.
Okay, for third quarter numbers, total intakes 97 animals, out of that 75 dogs and 22 cats. 40 of the dogs were returned to owner, 18 the Michiana Humane Society took on, 7 of the dogs, LaPorte County Animal Shelter. Guardians of the Green Mile took 2 of the dogs, Lakeshore Paws took 5. There was a foster with us on a court case that dog ultimately went back to its owner, but there was a foster. 1 dog euthanized due to an injury, 1 dog euthanized per a court order, and 1 dog euthanized that was at our kennel due to aggression. Then on the cat side of that, 4 cats were returned to owner, 5 the Michiana Humane Society took on, 4 the LaPorte County Animal Shelter took on 4. Freed's Cat Shelter took on 5. 1 went with a foster through animal control. 3 cats were euthanized due to injury. That's it for all the intakes for the third quarter.
How many of the return to owner animals are repeats?
I didn't break that down, but I did these numbers, probably 5 or 6.
And that's more than one repeat?
Yeah,
They get fined on the first or second one?
yeah, we do ticket them and administer that, yeah.
Okay.
Some of them were repeat offenders.
Bless you, Andy.
Any discussion on the numbers that were read by Officer Dunn? All right, we move to public comments. Any public comments? Welcome.
I volunteer with Animal Control, Elizabeth Smeckles, sorry, live here in Michigan City and volunteer with Animal Control. Also on the board of guardians of the Mel Dog Rescue. And we do partner with them and try to move dogs so that they aren't going to the Humane Society or the shelter. My biggest concern is, as a volunteer right now, and making sure that this kennel edition is done right and done right the first time. I was a very involved volunteer when we had all those court case dogs, and I know very often, like Chad said, that we can't put them into a traditional home because of the dogs are for a dog fighting situation. Who's going to take that dog and safely, comfortably do that? We all have homeowners insurance that we have to be concerned about. I want to make sure that as a taxpayer, I don't want to spend extra money on another officer just to have somebody in there to take care of those animals when we have those situations, but I also don't want us to build out not being realistic about what's happening in our communities that do have this situation. Maybe we're not finding it, maybe we're not looking for it, but there are, I know, groups out there that do this. Hopefully we can stop them before we have to impound 6 to 8 dogs at a time. But that is a realistic possibility to have that happen again. And I don't want us to start with 8 kennels and 2 overflow kennels, knowing that at that time it was a struggle to try to take care of our community and also offer housing for animals that we knew were going to be long-term. I mean, some of them were there 8 months. Diamond was there off and on for 2 years. And we had to do something. So I love the idea of larger kennels. Hopefully we're considering outdoor runs too, so that we can just let them out to go outside, especially if we have an aggressive animal. That's a safety issue. And if you can just open a door to let them out and in and clean the kennels and things like that. You know, maybe not all the runs have that option, but let's make sure some of them do, so that as volunteers, we're not set in a dangerous position. And our officers, we don't want you injured and off duty or worse, you know, as we saw what happened with that. It wasn't an animal safety issue, that was a different issue that will be addressed by this. But I just want to make sure that we aren't penny wise and dollar foolish doing this. Maybe 9 kennels instead of 8, and maybe they're a little smaller, and keep 3 of those in there, so at least we have a dozen. Or if we have one that has to be separated from the other, one can be in the old section and the rest can be in the new section. Just thinking realistically about what is going to possibly happen in our community as hopefully we continue to aggressively address feral cats, wandering animals, and being real assertive with picking up and keeping stray and roaming animals. I have 2 of my own, they're littles. I walk 2 miles every day. I can tell you at least twice a week I'm approached by animals, off-leash dogs. At least twice a week. I carry pepper spray because I can't shoot something. So just something to keep in mind as a community member that we do this right.
I think what we could do, because we're already meeting to kind of discuss the TNR and feral cats, we could just add the kennel and kind of have that for the council, and, you know, we'll have the plans. We could have Andy Botanic there, or at least, you know, give us insight on what it's going to look like, and then we could have that discussion. I'm not against going too big, but, you know, we have to have a limit at some point. But yeah, I mean, I'm open for discussion on it for sure.
Yeah, I think that's a great suggestion. That way the whole council knows what's going on, and there might be a better idea, or at least they know what animal control is trying to do in the police department. And, you know, you might say, well, you know, we're thinking about possibly expanding it a couple more kennels, and it might cost this instead of this, and you might have them sold already. You know, that somebody will say, yeah, okay. You know, Elizabeth, that's a good point, because I never thought about that. But like, to let the animals out, right? To let them run around and do that. Right now, they got to go out individually?
Yeah, we have that set up now, but it's indoor from one kennel to the left, one kennel to the right, so we can clean it, but they don't have outdoor access.
No outdoor access at all.
Yeah, but.
Is this new kennel going to have outdoor access?
Yes. That's
From every kennel?
No, we don't, we're not necessarily gonna need it for every kennel, because not every dog's gonna be aggressive. Probably need a quarter to a third of them set aside for that.
It's
Would be
expensive to
ideal.
add that.
Yeah.
Add that. A third of, I mean, I think a quarter to a third is fine.
Yeah.
I do think a couple of good comments were made, and I was glad you said a number, because, I mean, whether it's 10 or 12, if you have, we've done boarding forever, and 40 years now, so if you get 10 animals, it's a minimum of 2 hours twice a day.
Right.
And so, you know, and like Humane Society understands, you put more cages up or more buildings, you're just gonna have more animals. And the whole goal is with the animal control is to only hold the ones you have to hold for court cases or that are aggressive. Most of the other ones you're gonna wanna get into an adoption center or a foster home or something. So I think we need to be careful, because like to say the volunteers, and I do think it at some time, some future date, we should probably look at hiring at least one person to clean. Volunteers are great, but it should have somebody that's in charge of the program besides the dog wardens to make sure it gets done in case everybody gets sick or can't show up at the last minute or something.
Like a kennel tech.
Kennel tech or something, you know, and doesn't have to be anybody, you know, that's highly qualified, but somebody that can be in charge of making sure the animals are being cared for a couple times a day. But I think 10 more than 10 for any length of time is gonna be a big number. And so, I'm not saying you don't have 12 cages, I think that would be okay. But I do think the goal always has to be is to get those animals out of there as quick as we can. So,
And we try to help where we can.
oh no, I know, you guys have really been great.
Yeah.
And so, but, you know, just like you guys, everybody runs out of, you know, your friends see you coming and you have mentioned foster, and all of a sudden you don't have friends anymore, yeah.
And I don't mind helping try to get more volunteers, you know, if we ever get in that situation, you know, I'll
Yeah.
put people and we'll get them in there, but we try to avoid it. But we also, I don't want to not look at bad things happening in our community because we know it's going to be a hassle. I don't, you know, you see animals injured, I've been to Gary Animal Control, I know what it looks like when they're stacked double high in concrete. You know, it's not good. I never want that in the community. But, you know, at the same time, you need to be prepared if you have that situation here.
Very good. Any more public comments? Hearing none, board comments. Go with Karen.
Well, I actually think this has been a very knowledgeable meeting. And I do want to say, I want to ask how Paige is doing. Is she doing good? Because I gotta say, I'm impressed with her. Yeah, she's up here, she's taking on, you know, T&R thing, and she hasn't been here that long, and she's getting the ball rolling.
And she's found us a lot of resources.
Good. Well, please tell her she's doing a great job here. You guys are as well.
Thank
I
you.
know you're overwhelmed, and, you know, we're all trying to do the best that we can to get these animals in, and like I said,
Yeah.
people come in and adopt, and we can get yours in. But that's all I have.
Councilman.
No, I just want to thank Elizabeth for everything she does with this Green Mile organization. Yeah, I never knew that was part of your organization, but yeah, thank you for the community, you know, the work you do for the community, and much appreciated. Yep.
It's nice to finally put a face to the name, because I've seen your name 1,000 times.
Same.
Yeah. Thank you.
Dr. Bailey?
It's been a great meeting, so.
Obviously, I repeat that sentiment. The animal control is doing a fantastic job. They take on a lot of work. Like Dr. Bailey was saying, it's 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the afternoon. I care for these animals, and we've been full since I've been, in this position. So they do a lot of great things. Having the third animal control officer has been tremendous help. It's really reduced our overtime, because before they work Monday through Friday, you always have to have somebody coming in on overtime on Saturdays and Sundays. So now they kind of overlap. One's working Saturday, and then one's working Sunday, so that helps us out big time. So that was part of the contract that got changed for us. I did want to go over just the animal control calls for service. I have them here. Since we have 6 pages of notes from this meeting. So for the third quarter, which would be July through September of this year, calls for service for just animal complaints, we had 379. And then animal bites, we had 18. And then case reports, so anytime we're impounding or there's been a situation or pretty much any law enforcement action would take a case report with it. So with the animal complaints, we had 68 case reports. And then of the 18 bites, we had 16 that resulted in a case report or investigation. So they're very busy. They do a great job. And then with that, of course, we're still doing city ordinance violations and things like that. So, they're very busy. I can't be happier with the work they're doing. And again, allowing that third animal control officer has been a tremendous help, and we appreciate it.
I do have one comment. We have 3 animal control officers tonight, and obviously by the calls you guys are doing. And we're lucky in Michigan City that we do have these. Of course, they have one, not even full-time. And it's a nightmare. I mean, I don't know why the city over there doesn't put something together, but they don't have anything like this set up near as efficient as this. So, it's good.
Any other comments?
Just want to wish everybody happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Yep.
Thank you.
And enjoy your holidays.
The next meeting will be again that last Wednesday in March for the Animal Control Board. Will be March 26th. Does 11 a.m. still work, or should we do the 12:30?
12:30 is a lot better for me,
better?
but I can,
I'm flexible, whatever.
as long as I know in advance and get on my calendar, which
Okay.
I'm not the best about, but I tell my staff they'll do a better job than me.
Most meetings are at 12:30, so we'll stick with that. And then motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you, everyone. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas,
You too.
stay safe, and be merry.
Be merry. Yep.